This just in. There is a very specific, deeply frustrating moment in the life cycle of every successful small business owner. It is the exact moment when you realize that the harder you work, the less your company actually grows. As a strategist, I constantly see service business owners fail, not because they lack talent, and definitely not because they lack effort, but because they completely lack structural architecture. You probably started your business relying entirely on your own intuition and brute force. But according to the brilliant book Traction by Gino Wickman, growth rarely follows a linear path. It is characterized by phases of rapid evolution followed immediately by a suffocating systemic plateau known as hitting the ceiling. When you hit the ceiling, the very strategies you use to build your business become the exact things destroying it. The chaos that used to feel like hustle suddenly feels like an inescapable prison. Before you try to fix the problem by downloading another useless piece of software or hiring another expensive consultant, we need to look at exactly why your operational structure is broken and how you can systematically transition from working in your business to finally working on it. By the way, if you're new here, I'm Vicky Sidler from the Strategic Marketing Tribe, and I help small business owners like you build failure-proof marketing by focusing on the exact 20% of effort that drives 80% of the results. All so that your marketing stops feeling like a miserable second job you never asked for. I believe your absolute greatest competitive advantage is simply sounding undeniably human. Because let's be honest, if your business is trapped in chaos, your marketing probably is too. When you try to sell to everyone without a clear operational focus, you attract the exact nightmare clients that cause your team to burn out. So download my 5-minute marketing fix to spot where your messaging lacks clear structural boundaries so you can start attracting the clients who actually respect your systems. Okay, now with that all out of the way, why is your business driving you completely insane? If you spend every single day putting out fires instead of actually leading your team, you do not have a business. You have a highly stressful, poorly paying job. Service business owners frequently encounter a set of pervasive frustrations that signal a total structural failure. Wickman identifies these as the universal signs that you have hit the ceiling. First, there is a complete lack of control. Chaos becomes your default operating system. Then comes the people problems. You realize your employees do not share your vision, creating toxic friction because you are terrified to fire the wrong people. Despite all this increased effort and stress, your profitability remains completely stagnant. You are trapped in a tangled web of informal communication lines and operational bottlenecks. In pure desperation, you probably try every flavor of the month remedy you can find. You buy new software, hire temporary consultants, and launch massive new initiatives, only to realize that absolutely nothing is working. The exhaustion sets in because these temporary fixes never address the root cause of the dysfunction. So how do you actually fix the foundation? How do you cure shiny object syndrome? Well, you have to stop hallucinating a future that your team cannot actually see. Fragmented vision is the primary cause of shiny object syndrome, where you waste precious time and money chasing misaligned opportunities simply because they sound exciting in the moment. Wickman argues that total alignment is the only antidote. To achieve this, Traction introduces the Vision Traction Organizer, or the V/TO. This is a brutal 2-page instrument that distills a decade of strategic intent into a single document. It forces you to answer 8 critical questions, starting with your core values. which are the 3 to 7 timeless principles that define your culture and act as an absolute filter for who belongs in your company. It demands that you define your 10-year target or your unifying North Star, your 3-year picture, and your 1-year plan. Most importantly, for your service business, it forces you to define your marketing strategy. Because a service is an invisible, intangible promise, you must visualize the customer journey to build trust. You have to clearly define your target market, your unique differentiators, and a rock-solid guarantee that addresses your industry's biggest pain points. But a perfect vision is completely useless if you have the wrong people executing it. So why are you still keeping toxic employees on the payroll? In a high-stress service environment, prioritizing technical skill over cultural fit is a massive systemic failure that will slowly poison your entire company. A great vision is unattainable without the right people in the right seats. Wickman demands that you completely abandon the traditional corporate org chart, which is usually built around existing egos and reporting hierarchies. Instead, you must build an EOS accountability chart, built strictly around the functional outcomes your business actually needs to survive. To determine if someone is in the right seat, they must meet the GWC criteria. Do they genuinely get the role? Do they actually want to do the work? And do they have the mental and emotional capacity to execute it? If they fall below the bar, you must strip the emotion out of the process. Wickman implements a ruthless 3-strike rule for personnel issues. If an employee cannot correct their behavior within a strict 90-day, 3-meeting timeline, they are terminated. This provides a completely transparent, objective path to clear out the toxic friction holding your company back. But to manage people objectively, you have to stop relying on your gut feeling. But how do you stop managing by gut feel? Well, if you are only looking at your profit and loss statements to gauge success, you are driving your business while staring exclusively in the rearview mirror. To move beyond emotional management, you must rely on leading indicators. By the time you see a profit loss on a P&L statement, it is entirely too late to fix the problem. You need a weekly scorecard featuring 5 to 15 activity-based metrics like leads generated or calls made that actually predict future results. Every single number must have a weekly target, and one specific person on the accountability chart must own it. When you have objective scorecard-driven accountability, you can finally attack the broken process instead of attacking the person. This data will inevitably expose massive issues within your company. But if your operational way only exists inside your head, your business cannot survive without you. You must document your core processes using the 20/80 rule, documenting only the 20% of steps that produce 80% of the results. This infrastructure is not a quick fix. It is an 18 to 24-month journey toward total discipline. But by strengthening these core components, you can finally stop working in the chaos and start working on a self-sustaining enterprise that provides reliable value to your customers and actual freedom for yourself. If your marketing feels just as chaotic as your daily operations, it means your vision is still fragmented. You cannot scale a service business if your messaging is trying to be everything to everyone. So get my 5-minute marketing fix. It helps you identify exactly where your funnels lack the strict, objective boundaries required by EOS, allowing you to clearly communicate your unique value to the exact right clients. Stop losing sales. Download the fix now. You can get it for free in the description below, or you can go to strategicmarketingtribe.com/fix. But what about you? What is the absolute most expensive, entirely useless software tool you ever purchased in pure desperation? I'll go first. I once trialed an SEO content writer and we abandoned it after 3 weeks because the output was so embarrassing. Okay, your turn. What was your most expensive attempted fix? Let me know in the comments. I'm Vicky Sidler from the Strategic Marketing Tribe, and I post helpful book summaries for small businesses every week.